Hi, it's Kristen from Pratt Scraps, and today I'm working on a page about the Nativity Scene and why we have a Nativity Scene at this time of year. This one was pretty obvious. I didn't really need to look it up, the history of it, but I did. Anyway, actually my daughter did, but yeah. So we have a Nativity Scene, and we just got one last year that had more, let's say, fragile pieces made out of like porcelain or some material like that. In the past, we had one that was just a little bit more solid because the girls were younger and they loved to play with them. They thought they were toys that they could play with, and baby Jesus was always missing in our house somewhere. We never knew where baby Jesus was. And actually, I believe he is still missing to this day. We don't know where the baby Jesus is. So, it happens. It's the joy of having children. But now that my youngest is 9, we have graduated to a more adult nativity scene. Um, and it came with this large wooden stable. Well, downstairs in the basement where the girls have their room, we have a storage area, and that's where the Christmas box goes, for most of the year, and Halloween box and whatever. Well, the stable itself just kind of sits on top of a box because it's quite large. There'll be a picture of it later when I document that day that we set it up. Anyway, my middle daughter came upstairs one day, and she was laughing kind of, and she's like, "You'll never guess where the cat is right now." And I'm like, "The cat? Where? Downstairs? What?" And she's like, "No, it's all curled up in Jesus's cabin." And I just looked at her like, "What are you talking about? Jesus's cabin?" Well, it turns out it was the stable from the nativity scene and the storage room, and the cat had decided that is where it was going to curl up for the day. So that has been an ongoing joke for years now, that but it's probably not the nicest thing, but it's a family joke that Jesus was born at Jesus's cabin. But anyway, funny story, funny part of our family, something that we'll remember forever. So here I am cutting apart all these strips of paper, and when I had made these strips, I set my columns to 4 inches wide, not remembering that I had ordered this extra packet of page protectors to add on to the main kit, and those measure 3 inches by 8 inches. So this particular set of strips didn't fit across the paper. They were too long. So I ended up cutting them apart word by word and kind of had it go to make it fit. And it actually gave me an idea for another page that I'm going to be doing later on. So I'm not going to share that right now, but you'll see it later. So this process, I am enjoying the way it's looking for the most part. But there's a word that I've learned from watching. It was not a word common to my vocabulary, but the more I've heard it used, the more appropriate I think it is for a lot of situations. So I watch Scrappy Nerd UK. I watch her process videos, and I watch Kitty Scrapper's process videos. Those are the two that stick out the most. And they use the word fiddly when they're describing things that take a lot of, messing around and moving about and small little pieces and things like that. So anyway, this is a very fiddly process to me. And it's also on the Great British Bake Off show, or Great British Baking Show, Championship Show, which I also really enjoy watching. I think Paul Hollywood is fabulous watching. So here's where the end result, my camera cut out. And it's basically just says that the nativity scene is something that we put up at Christmas time to represent the birth of Jesus. And now this is what I end up doing with the back side of this page. I fit in another piece of paper, but because I put those big acrylic stars on there, they're thick acrylic stars, I have to cut the other paper down to fit so they line up better. So that's just what I'm doing here. And when I went into my scrapbook room this morning to work on this page, the song "Oh Holy Night" just came into my head. And actually, I may have actually sang it a little bit while I was in there, which is weird, but it's just what I do. So anyway, I decided I needed to put that on this page as well. So that's why it says "Oh Holy Night" there. And now I'm going to fit this back in the pocket. And I don't know if my kids borrowed my stuff, but I used to have the glass mat that went with the fuse tool and the metal ruler that went with it. Neither one could be found when I wanted to do this. And I'm one of those people that when I want to do something, I need to do it, or either I'll forget or I'll just never get around to doing it again. So here I am trying to fiddling with this to get it into its page protector, and this acetate or the acrylic star point ends up ripping my page protector. So I have to grab a new one because I'm going to make this into a shaker pocket, and I don't really want the sequins falling out of the page protector. So I will be a little more careful this time when I slide it in there. Acrylic pieces are not my favorite to work with, but the color was perfect for this particular little card, and so I just went with it. And now I'm just going through my little sequin stash, and I believe the one, and I use a couple different ones, but the ones that have the stars mixed in, this one and then the one next to it, I believe it's the next one I scoop in, they're both mixes from, I believe, Spiegel Mom scraps. So I don't remember the names of them. I wish now in hindsight that I would have saved the little card that came on top of the package, but I did not. And I was going to put some different colors in there, but I kind of stuck with the iridescent, the white, silver. There's silver stars in there that you can't really see. I will do a close-up, or we'll add a close-up little video clip of the shaker when at the end of this video. Now I'm just trying to get more of the stars. They're just itty bitty tiny little stars, and they're silver. I wanted to kind of just try to do all like white iridescent silver, no gold or anything, since the other side is grays and silvers. And I never know how much to put in because I wasn't planning on putting anything else, any words or anything like that. So I go back to my stash and I get, here's what I was thinking about putting some multicolored, because I have a couple other mixes that have stars and multicolored sequins, but I ended up just sticking with the original color scheme. And I found some silver ones and some kind of like, they almost are rose gold, but they're not. They're like rose silver, if that's a possible, I don't know, platinum maybe is what they would be called. They're not quite gold, but they're not really silver either. And then I'm just trying to pick up these little ones that fell out. And then, let's see, what's my last? Oh, I think I go back and get some black, just because. There. And now here's where I really need my metal ruler, which I don't have. So I grab I thought it was pretty resourceful. I grab I'm still thinking about it. What am I going to use? I grab a knitting needle because it's metal and I know it won't melt. But it actually worked out really well. Ideally, yes, I need to find the ruler that came with the fuse tool, but it worked for me. So there's my shaker. I guess you can see it there. And that's the end. Thanks for watching. Bye.